Moose, the Mooch. That's the UGA Jazz Band under the direction of Steve Dancz. That does kind of raise a question, Steve, and that is there is that seamier side to jazz, at least to its beginnings. We know that jazz pretty much began in the brothels of New Orleans, and Charlie Parker certainly one of the major figures in the history of jazz. And as he himself pointed out, his habits were not essential to the music, and yet you can't deal with Charlie Parker without acknowledging his habits, one of which he depended on Moose, the Mooch, to fulfill. And I know, knowing you, that if you felt that dark side of jazz were a necessary part of it, that by disseminating the music, you were also disseminating that side of it. As much as you love the music, you wouldn't do it. So how do we contend with that dark side of jazz?
I think if you look through the history of art in general, not just jazz, but music in general, and widen it to writing or painting or whatever it happens to be, this creativity happens from human beings, and human beings are, imperfect.
Well, yeah.
They access their creativity in ways that are not always, healthy or wise in certain senses, but they do what they have to do in a way, or they create. Charlie Parker was the first person to tell people who wanted to emulate, especially that part of his background, that it was not helpful.
Right.
Miles would say it was not helpful. Frank Morgan would certainly say it's not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So, they were creative giants in spite of their human foibles and their and the things that just made their life actually much more difficult.
Yeah. It's as you say, you've got just to take a few names as examples: Faulkner, Fitzgerald, Hemingway, all notable authors known for problems of their own. So it's not exactly universal. There are great writers, there are great musicians who manage to get by without leaning on crutches, and yet
name one. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I know
it might take me a while to get back to you on that, but I'm sure they're out there. But nonetheless,
well, Duke Ellington was a classic. The man had hot water. He didn't
in his later
put tea
years. In his later years, though, there was a time in the mid-30s after his mother's death when he was a very heavy drinker himself.
That's true.
So it was something he got beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, okay. Well, this is certainly a wholesome-looking bunch here, so we can listen to them without having to worry too much about.
I took this group to China a year ago and did not have to bail one of them out of jail.
That's probably fortunate.
I think it is.